What is happening, Nexus crew? Get ready to dive headfirst into the absolute latest and greatest in the gaming universe. The news cycle is firing on all cylinders, and if you're not plugged in, you're missing out on some monumental shifts. We've got updates that are shaking things up, from industry titans addressing critical issues to brand new ways to customize your experience. You absolutely do not want to miss what's coming your way today. So buckle up, because this is PS5 Nexus, and we're about to break it all down for you. First up, we're talking about the price of admission to the next generation. The cost of consoles is a hot topic, and a major industry figure is weighing in on how it might be impacting sales. Is the hardware itself becoming a barrier to entry for some of the biggest games? We've got the details on what a leading company president had to say about the financial hurdles players might be facing. Next, we're diving deep into the performance of a highly anticipated new release. How is this graphically ambitious title actually running across different platforms? We're breaking down the visuals, frame rates, and the subtle differences you might see between PC, the standard PS5, and even the PS5 Pro. Get ready for a technical deep dive that could influence your next purchase. And finally, for our collectors and style enthusiasts, get ready for some exciting new cosmetic options. We've got the scoop on some highly sought-after console and controller customization pieces that are about to drop. Plus, we'll cover a special regional release that might have some of you planning your next acquisition. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you're always in the know. The console cost conundrum, a publisher's perspective. Did you know that the very hardware powering your next-gen gaming adventures might be a significant hurdle for players? That's right, the price of admission to the current console generation is under scrutiny, and no less than the president of a major game development studio is speaking out about it. This isn't just about consumers feeling the pinch, it's about how the cost of consoles can directly impact the ambitious sales targets of blockbuster titles. Capcom President Haruhiro Tsujimoto recently sat down for an interview that shed light on a critical factor influencing game sales: the substantial cost of the PlayStation 5. He candidly discussed the company's goals for Monster Hunter Wilds, a title that has already achieved remarkable success. However, Tsujimoto pointed out that achieving such massive sales figures, particularly within the initial launch window, isn't solely dependent on the game's quality or marketing. A primary obstacle identified is the financial barrier presented by the PS5 itself. In Japan, for instance, the console can cost around 80,000 yen. When you combine this with the price of a new game and the ongoing expense of a PlayStation Plus subscription, the total outlay for a new player can easily approach 100,000 yen. Tsujimoto emphasized that this is a considerable investment, especially for younger gamers or those with more limited disposable income. He noted that this price sensitivity isn't confined to Japan, but is a global concern, suggesting that Sony's pricing strategy could be limiting the potential audience for games designed with the PS5 as a primary platform. This perspective is particularly relevant given recent price adjustments made by Sony. In several regions, including the United States, the cost of PlayStation 5 consoles has seen an increase. The premium PS5 Pro model, for example, now retails for a higher price point, further exacerbating the issue of accessibility. This strategic decision by Sony to raise prices, even if aimed at profitability, could inadvertently create a more exclusive market for its flagship console. The consequence for developers like Capcom is a need to recalibrate sales expectations, factoring in the economic realities faced by their target demographic. The gap between the cost of current-generation consoles and older, more affordable options is becoming increasingly stark, prompting a reevaluation of how games are positioned and priced in the market. It raises the question of whether the high cost of entry is hindering the widespread adoption of new technologies, and, by extension, the sales potential of new software. Industry analysts and players alike are observing this trend closely. The community is abuzz with discussions about whether the current pricing models are sustainable or if a course correction is needed to ensure broader accessibility and continued growth in the gaming sector. The sentiment is that while innovation is welcome, it should not come at the expense of inclusivity. The challenge lies in balancing the premium experience offered by next-generation hardware with the financial realities of a diverse global player base. But will this price sensitivity affect more than just sales figures? Stay tuned as we unpack the performance of a highly anticipated game on this very hardware. Monster Hunter Wilds sales slowdown. Is the PS5 price the culprit? Monster Hunter Wilds burst onto the scene with unprecedented success, shattering Capcom records by selling a staggering 10.1 million copies, with an incredible 8 million of those moving in just the first 3 days. It quickly became the best-selling game in the United States year-to-date. However, as the calendar flipped to the second quarter, the game's initial explosive momentum appears to have cooled considerably. Wilds managed to sell only 477,000 units last quarter, a figure that barely surpassed Monster Hunter Rise, a title that has been on the market for 4 years and is still performing admirably with 389,000 units sold. Capcom's internal reports have characterized Wilds' sales performance in Q2 as soft, and the company's president, Haruhiro Tsujimoto, has publicly identified the cost of entry for the PlayStation 5 as a primary reason for this slowdown. His assessment seems to be hitting the mark. Tsujimoto explained to Nikkei Gaming that Capcom had heavily anticipated the PS5 to be the main platform for Monster Hunter Wilds. However, the cumulative cost for players looking to jump into the game on the PS5 is substantial. When factoring in the console itself, necessary accessories, and mandatory subscriptions like PlayStation Plus, the total investment can easily reach approximately $100,000, which translates to roughly $677 USD. Add the game's $70 price tag to this, and the initial buy-in for a player could exceed $750. This is particularly noteworthy considering that, at its launch, Wilds reportedly offered less content than its predecessors. Adding fuel to this fire, Sony has recently implemented further price increases for its PS5 consoles. As of August 21st, the standard PS5 now carries a price tag of $549.99, the digital edition is $499.99, and the premium PS5 Pro model is priced at $749.99. These figures are not just high. They verge on being exclusionary for a significant portion of the gaming community. The core question gamers are asking with their purchasing decisions is, why would a player invest over $750 in Monster Hunter Wilds when older titles like Monster Hunter World and Rise are available for under $10 and offer a more complete experience? Capcom itself has admitted that younger gamers, who often have less disposable income, are opting out of Wilds altogether, choosing instead to invest in older titles that provide greater value for their money. Beyond the price point, concerns about value are also prevalent. Monster Hunter Wilds faced criticism at launch for performance issues on PC, a lack of substantial endgame content, and a seasonal model that failed to resonate positively with the player base. Steam reviews have consequently dipped into the mostly negative category, with some frustrated fans reportedly resorting to harassing Capcom developers regarding the game's current state. Capcom's proposed solution involves delivering more content and updates, with speculation also pointing towards a potential launch on the rumored Nintendo Switch 2. However, until these measures are in place, Wilds remains in a precarious position. A blockbuster debut followed by a significant decline in sales, all while older installments continue to outperform it quarter after quarter. The fundamental issue appears to be that Capcom developed a flagship title for a console ecosystem that is increasingly pricing out its own audience. Wilds isn't faltering due to a lack of quality, but rather due to its prohibitive cost. In a market where $10 can grant access to a full Monster Hunter experience, a $750 investment for a newer, less content-rich version simply doesn't make financial sense. For Monster Hunter Wilds to regain its footing, Capcom will need to implement more than just game patches. A strategic shift in platform availability or a significant reconsideration of pricing may be necessary. Currently, the biggest obstacle to the game's success isn't the monsters within it, but the hardware required to play it. It's clear that hardware costs can make or break a game's success. But how does that hardware perform when pushing the limits with graphically demanding titles? We're about to find out. Unveiling the Ghost of Yotei collection, exclusive Australian release details. Get ready, collectors and customization enthusiasts, because a stunning new line of PlayStation accessories inspired by the highly anticipated Ghost of Yotei is about to make its debut. PlayStation has officially confirmed that pre-orders for this special collection will go live this week, bringing a touch of unique artistry to the PS5 console and its accessories. While the full range of designs has been revealed, there's a particular twist for our friends down under, with Australia set to receive an exclusive color variation. PlayStation initially announced a comprehensive suite of Ghost of Yotei themed items, including the very first faceplates designed for the PS5 Pro, alongside new faceplates for the PS5 Slim model. The collection also features custom console covers and specially designed DualSense controllers. Across different regions, two distinct design inspirations have been highlighted, one drawing from the aesthetic of repairing ceramics, rendered in a beautiful gold finish, and another inspired by the art of Japanese ink painting, presented in a sleek black variant. However, for the Australian market, PlayStation has confirmed that only the gold-inspired variations will be available for all products in the range. This means Australian gamers will miss out on the black-themed accessories, making the gold editions a unique and exclusive offering for that region. The announcement details that the collection will be available in limited quantities, a factor that, based on past high-demand accessory releases, suggests these items will be highly sought after and may sell out quickly. Availability will also be restricted to select retailers, adding another layer of exclusivity. The official pre-order date for Australia has been set for Thursday, September 4th, commencing at 10:00 a.m. AEST. While specific local pricing and a definitive list of participating retailers are yet to be confirmed, industry expectations point towards major gaming stores like EB Games and JB Hi-Fi being primary stockists. Amazon Australia is also considered a strong possibility for availability, with the potential for some items to be exclusively offered through EB Games or JB Hi-Fi. This limited release strategy is common for premium console accessories and special edition peripherals, aiming to capitalize on collector demand and create a sense of urgency among consumers. The Ghost of Yotei game itself is slated for release on October 2nd, making these accessories a perfect companion piece for those eager to dive into the new adventure. For those looking to secure the game, NAB cardholders can currently pre-order it from Amazon for $89 with free delivery by using the code NAB10, offering an early opportunity to get ready for the title's launch. The community response to these new customization options has been largely positive, with many players expressing excitement about the prospect of personalizing their PS5 consoles with unique designs. The decision to offer region-specific colorways adds an interesting dynamic, potentially increasing the desirability of the Australian exclusives for collectors worldwide. However, it also raises questions about equitable access to all available designs. The limited supply and select retailer distribution will undoubtedly be key factors in how successfully fans can acquire these highly anticipated items. These unique designs offer a fresh look for your console. But how do the consoles themselves handle the latest graphically intensive games? We're diving into performance next. Hell is a performance breakdown, PC, PS5, and Xbox compare. As graphically ambitious titles continue to push the boundaries of what's possible on modern hardware, understanding how these games perform across different platforms is crucial for gamers. Hell is Us, built on the powerful Unreal Engine 5, is one such title that demands significant processing power. This deep dive explores the performance metrics, visual fidelity, and frame rates across PC, Xbox Series XS, and the PlayStation 5, including a look at the PS5 Pro's capabilities. On the PC front, Hell is Us generally runs well, but it certainly requires robust hardware to achieve optimal performance. For those targeting a 1080p resolution with medium graphical settings, a minimum configuration would include a GTX 1070 or RX 5600 XT GPU. paired with a Core i7-7700K CPU and 16 GB of RAM. Stepping up to 1440p with high detail settings necessitates a more powerful setup, recommending an RTX 3080 or RX 6800 XT. Even with top-tier hardware, like an RTX 4090, achieving a consistent 4K resolution with maximum settings, especially when utilizing upscaling technologies such as DLSS, FSR, or ZSS, presents a challenge. Benchmarks indicate frame rates hovering around 30 FPS, with occasional stutters and noticeable hitches, while VRAM usage can climb as high as 12 to 13 GB. Smoother experiences at 4K are generally contingent on lowering detail settings or relying heavily on upscaling. The console experience offers a more standardized performance profile. On the Xbox Series X, Hell Is Us consistently delivers a smooth 60 FPS in both its performance mode and when utilizing high graphics settings. The resolution and overall image sharpness remain stable, and reports indicate no significant technical issues have surfaced. The Xbox Series S also manages to maintain a 60 FPS frame rate, though this comes at the cost of reduced graphical effects and a lower native resolution. While gameplay remains fluid, texture quality and lighting effects are visibly less impressive compared to the Series X, showcasing a clear trade-off between fidelity and frame rate. On the PlayStation 5, performance in Hell Is Us typically fluctuates between 30 and 60 FPS when in performance mode. During particularly demanding scenes, some players have noted brief frame drops and momentary loading pauses, especially when transitioning between large, complex areas. However, in personal playtests, major frame rate issues were not encountered, with only minor instances of texture pop-in and an isolated audio glitch reported. The PS5 Pro, however, offers a tangible upgrade. It provides noticeably sharper visuals, significantly reduces instances of texture pop-in, and delivers a more stable overall performance. The game effectively leverages the PS5 Pro's Super Resolution, PSSR, upscaling technology, and the integration of subtle haptic feedback through the DualSense controller enhances immersion without being overly intrusive. In summary, Hell Is Us demonstrates good scalability across different platforms, though it distinctly pushes high-end PC hardware at 4K resolution, making upscaling technologies essential. The Xbox Series X stands out as offering the most consistent console experience with steady frame rates and solid visuals. The Series S prioritizes fluidity over graphical fidelity, while the standard PS5 provides a robust performance baseline. The PS5 Pro offers a marked improvement in visual clarity and stability, making it the most refined console experience for this title. It's clear that hardware capabilities vary significantly. But what happens when a game's success is directly tied to the accessibility of its platform? And that wraps up another incredible episode of PS5 Nexus. We covered the impact of console pricing on game sales, delved into the performance of Hell Is Us across multiple platforms, highlighted exclusive Ghost of Yotei accessories for Australia, and discussed the sales trajectory of Monster Hunter Wilds. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more awesome content, ring the notification bell so you never miss an update, and let us know in the comments what you think about today's news. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms for even more gaming goodness.